Yeah, what's up, people? That's right. This is my hat for the oncoming winter, because I'm not going to be putting heat on in my house, so I'm going to have to bundle up, get my hat. Yeah, I'll be selling these hats. If you want one, it's $400. It's pure mink, bro. Yeah, what up? I'm Yakmanov. I come for you. So anyway, I just made a video, right? And usually I don't even watch the video. I just blah, blah, blah. I let it run, and I see how it came out. But it came off of a, it came out a little bit too instant. It came out too negative. How I feel no pity for the auto bailout. Now, we're talking about the bailout, right? Like, America's not bad enough. They're saying, oh, if we don't bail out the auto companies, that America is going to be really, really doomed because of the 2 million more people that are going to be unemployed. Here's an idea, and I don't want to sound like a racist, okay? But everyone was always complaining about immigration, how the Mexicans are taking the jobs from Americans. Now, let's look at what the Mexicans are normally doing. They're working in the backs of restaurants, sweeping up, doing dishes, and taking out garbage. Do you want that job? Let's look at what the Mexicans do in my neighborhood. They all stand on a corner by the subway, by the train station, looking for people to pick them up to do yard work, to paint houses. Do you want those jobs? Well, you know what? Therefore, here's what we'll do. So let's end immigration. Let's round up all the immigrants, make them go back to Mexico, so all you GM people can go get real jobs. Go sweep up some yards. Go do some yard work. Go paint some fences. Is that insincere? Do I feel bad? Let's see what happens to America without the auto bailout, because that's what capitalism is supposed to be about. You make a bad product, your company fails. I don't care. Nobody cares about the Enron people. Nobody cares about the WorldCom people and all the Lehman and Bear Stearns people. I don't give a shit about the CEOs and all the people that caused those problems. But Joe Schmo, who was on the phone trying to make a living selling stocks and bonds and building portfolios and all that stuff, he's out of work. And nobody cares about him and his 401k that went to zero. Nobody cares about him. He's not getting bailed out. And all the smart people, like me, who put down as much money as I could afford when I bought my house and locked into a 30-year fixed rate at 5.75%. Smart people should be benefiting. I want money. I want to be bailed out because I haven't made money in the stock market. Nobody bailed me out from when I bought internet companies that were worthless, that went from $300 a share to zero. Nobody's bailing me out. I've said this a million times. Now here's the thing. Is that why we have to bail these companies out? It's not to save the company. Now, do you think if we bail out GM, Chrysler, and Ford, that they're not going to fail 5 or 10 years from now? Of course they are. They're still going to make shitty cars because they cost too much, because the unions make these cars $3,000 or $4,000 more expensive than a Japanese car that's made overseas. If you could keep the cost down, get rid of the unions, and make a cheaper car, then people would buy them. People would probably be more inclined to buy American cars if they were cheaper and just as good. You don't have to make them better, just make them just as good, but just make them equally priced, fairly priced. But you know what? How about this? Get rid of some of those cars, the ones that aren't selling. Stop making them. How's that for an idea? Stick to your trucks, because everybody likes a Ford and the American-made trucks. Nissan's making a decent truck, but people still want to buy American trucks, so just stick around and make those trucks. And how about what McCain said? McCain said, if we're going to bail out the auto companies, part of the deal should be that 50% of every penny that we give them goes to redoing all their plants and make them green. Make the electric car. Make the solar-powered car. So what? You won't be able to go 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. But you know what? It'll be a green car. You help save the environment, and they should be cheaper, and everybody will save money. Is that such a bad idea? McCain has a good idea right there. If we're just going to give them money to keep them afloat, to pay their employees, they're just going to fail 5 or 10 years from now, aren't they? Just a Band-Aid? Fuck them. Fuck them. We're already in a catastrophe. Might as well just add to it and see how it all pans out. Now, another reason why I think America is doomed is that we're all talking about the common folk, people that are losing their homes. You know what? Again, I feel no pity. Maybe I'm just angry because no one's helping me. But you know what? People who couldn't afford homes shouldn't have been able to buy them. It was the American dream. But you know what? The American dream is you work hard, you save your money, and then you buy a house. Don't buy a house that's too expensive for you, thinking that interest rates were never going to go up and that you were going to be able to afford this house and that the housing market was just going to keep going up, and that if anything got in trouble, you could be able to sell your house for more money than you bought it for. whatever. But I'm talking about the commercial real estate industry right now. The commercial real estate industry, talking about guys who have 10, 20, 30 million. I know personally of a guy who's got a $300 to $400 million portfolio of buildings, and he is dead broke. He couldn't afford to buy me lunch, okay? Here's what happened. He was doing fine. He was doing fine, buying up real estate all around the world, all around the country, people that were paying rents, and that was it. He was buying buildings, flipping some of them, but most of them he was buying buildings, 20, 30, 100 occupant buildings, and the rents were coming and everything was fine. But then he kept buying more buildings, and then he thought maybe, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start buying land and build more buildings on them. So now he's got 3 or 4 construction things out there that are in limbo. Nobody wants to buy the land from him. Nobody wants to pick up where he left off. He's got half-built buildings that are just going to be sitting there rotting. Nobody's going to want to pick those up. And you know what? Nobody's going to be bailing that guy out either. But again, I don't feel bad for him because he was like a crack addict. He thought, along with everybody else, that it would never stop going up. And if worst-case scenario, he'd be able to sell some of his buildings and get out of it at a profit. But you know what? Now he's going to be in trouble. And that's just one guy. And I know that guy. And there's got to be a lot more out there. So the commercial real estate industry is going to fall apart sooner or later also. Now, back to the stock market, why would you want to own stocks of any company right now where you think 5 years from now that they won't be any better than they are today? The only way to make money right now is trying to buy when the market collapses and look for those 3-day rallies and then short back into it because they're probably just going to roll back over and go back down. And that's the way the stock market's probably going to be for the next 10, 15 years. Who knows? But the worst thing that can happen is if everybody becomes indifferent. Nobody even wants to even go near the stock market. They'll just sit there and we'll just do nothing. That's where I come in. That's where I come in. At least you can come to my website, we hang out in the chat room, we can talk about stuff and try to make some money, but at least I'm entertaining. At least I'm doing a little bit something more different. That's why I can understand. How come I don't have 500 people in my chat room like Elite Trader or Investors Hub or a lot of these other websites? My 10 or 15, 20 guys collectively, we're just as good as anybody else in the world. We're making money, you know. Or I'm not really making too much money, but last like 7 or 8 days since I've been back trading, I've made money every single day, and every single trade that I did, the Kroll rule, you get in when I get out, you could have made money. It's simple as that. You don't even have to know what you're doing. That's the thing. That's the beauty of it all. You can come to my website not even knowing anything about anything. Just press a few buttons and you're going to make money. Get to my chat room. And if there's nothing going on, at least I'm there to entertain you, tell a few jokes. You know? You could always make fun of my mom. I could go on forever about that. Everybody's got mom jokes. But my mom, every joke has to be prefaced with the sound of my mom's voice. I think I told you about the sound of my mom's voice. It's kind of like this. That's my sound. That's basically what my mom's voice does sound like. You know, some people exaggerate, but you know, I lived at home for a little bit longer than most people did. I lived at home till I was 26. You know, I figured why not hang out there until I was ready to get married and move out. Was saving my money like any good Jew would. So I had a little downstairs apartment. So it was like almost like I was living on my own. I had my own entrance, but my mom would always call me from upstairs, and you know, all I would hear from upstairs is "What's up?" And year after year, I would go up there and say, listen, Ma, I can't hear you from downstairs. Generally, I got the TV blasting, doing something else, and all I hear is a bunch of static. And all I do, and year after year. So I was like, listen, Ma, now that I'm an adult, I want to talk to you as an adult. Grasp what I'm trying to say here. I can't hear you. If it's that important, just walk downstairs and tell me what you need. Day later, all I hear, so then I figured out what I should do. I just started making all sorts of noises back up at her, assuming that she thinks that she can hear me. So the conversation would kind of go like this. And I would just yell back up. I'm having a conversation with my mom. I don't know what I'm saying. She doesn't know what I'm saying. I know I'm not saying anything, but somehow she stops talking. Later on, she's like, so did you take care of that thing? Ma, I was having a conversation with nothing. Nobody. You got to start grasping the fact that I can't hear you. But anyway, how did I get off this subject? Yeah, let's talk about the bailout for 8 more seconds. Don't do it. Let's see what happens. Let them all find new jobs. Figure it out.